Welcome to season 2 of the Run Strong Run podcast. This season, I'm mixing it up with powerful interviews from inspiring voices at the back of the pack and motivational episodes where I share running tips, advice, and encouragement to keep you moving strong. Because here we believe one thing loud and clear: all runners count. Let's dive into this week's episode. I am so excited to be here today with Alicia. Her and I first met in the spring of 2024 at a half marathon called Run Rocklin. And since then, her and I have had the pleasure of running together for both a 20 miler at Run the Parkway as well as CIM, the California International Marathon. I knew as soon as I met her that I needed to bring her on the podcast because her story as being a single mom, being a business owner, and starting to run, I knew that she needed to be on the podcast, a grandma runner. Welcome to the podcast, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
Tell us first, let's start at the beginning. What got you into running?
I started running again 3 years ago because I just, out of desperation, I just felt like I needed to do something. I was always on the go, 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 raising 3 kids on my own. And I was like, I just took a step back and I started to realize, like, I feel like I'm always running with time. And I sat down one day and I just wrote some notes of the things that I really enjoyed in the past. So one of them was running. And I'm like, I don't know if I can run anymore. But you know what? I remember how it brought me joy. I was outdoors. It brought me peace and I was able to be more calm. And I'm like, even if I start walking, so that's how I started to run. It's just by taking a step back and thinking the things that would fill my cup.
I love that. Just right then, as you were like talking about like being more at peace, like all of a sudden I took a deep breath. Like I felt more at peace. And isn't that so true? Like running truly is such like that peaceful spiritual moment. I know some people might be listening saying, are you kidding me? Like running is so hard. But I love that too, that you're like even just walking, like taking a walk break, like that's okay. And you know that's what I preach to about run walk intervals and listening to your body. But okay, now let's jump into races. Like what was like your first race and what made you kind of jump into races?
After I started walking and I'm like, okay, this felt good. And taking the time to start by, taking that mile and then mile and a half. I mean, this was prior to the 3 years. So I started probably in 2018, which is now how many years back? 18. So almost 5 years, right? So I started walking then, and then I'm like, I feel good. I think I can do this. So, adding a little bit of, running, like starting with a mile and then a mile and a half. And I'm like, I just feel good. I felt really good doing that. And yes, running is hard and it's not easy, but it's also that determination that you have within you that you're like, you know what? We could do hard things. Like we really can. So it's all about how you think and process. And even though it wasn't easy running that first mile, it was just felt so good just to be able to accomplish that finish. And once I did that, I'm like, okay, now I know I can do a little bit more, so it's not about doing it all in at once. It's about just taking that first step. After being able to complete my first 5K, which is, I think my first 5K was actually in 2018. And I wasn't prepared. I just said, I'm going to go for it. And once I finished that, I said, I started to meet the great beauty about running is that you meet some amazing people like yourself. And, you inspire us. You inspire us as like, there's always a way to accomplish something. And when you're surrounded about that, around that energy, you just feel like anything is possible, especially at the moment. So, when I did my first 5K, I can see the excitement, people just happy to be able to finish. And I'm like, okay. So from there on, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start training. So I would pull up my own information online. I didn't know where to start. I would just go by listening to other people, their advice, and how I should get started by, shoes and make sure that you stretch. So I'm like, okay. So then once I finished my first 5K, I just loved the way that I felt when I finished. So I pushed a little, I just ended up doing more runs, more often and I would get more excited. And then that's how it all started.
I love that so much because isn't that the truth? I think there's this misconception about how like races you have to show up already being ready. Or I think people are scared to show up for races because they might worry like, oh, I'm too slow or I can't run the whole thing. But I feel like by and large, the race community, the running community is so like inclusive and accepting and encouraging. And when you show up for those races, it's electrifying, it's energizing. And this is why like I am so addicted to pacing all these races and meeting inspiring people such as yourself because each person has a story and a story of like what brought them there to that starting line. So I love that. Okay, so you sign up for your first 5K in 2018 and you feel like unstoppable, like, and so that's kind of what propelled you forward to then sign up for a half marathon. So when was your first half marathon?
My first half marathon was in San Diego, and it was the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. And that was, God, I believe that was in 22 or 21, but it was a couple years ago. So I signed up for that one and did my very best to train. And I remember someone just sharing with me, it's like, don't worry about all the complications, just run 5 days a week. Just run. Just, run, walk, do whatever it takes, just get your miles in. That's all he said to focus on. So I took his advice. And I wasn't worried about the hills and about the speed race or racing at a faster pace. It was just a matter of keeping that consistency. And that's how I started. And it was great. My first half marathon, I finished in 2 hours and 26 minutes. Yes.
That's great. And so then you
Yeah.
crossed that first half marathon finish line in 2021 at Rock and Roll San Diego. I have done that race before. I did that race pregnant in 2018 when I was pregnant with my first. And that
Oh,
race, I
wow.
made a tragic error in that I raced in new shoes that I bought at the expo. Yes, I knew better, but they were just so cute. I couldn't resist. And so
Yes.
I was in so much pain in that race. I considered taking off my shoes and finishing barefoot because it was that bad. But so not the best memories for myself for Rock and Roll San Diego, but I'm glad that you have good memories because then it propelled you forward even more. You didn't stop there because you've done 16 more since then. So crossed the finish line, Rock and Roll San Diego in 2021, and then what?
It gave me that energy. It gave me that boost. It made me realize how happy, how joyful it made me feel. And yes, I mean, getting to that 6 mile, 8 mile, you're like, what am I doing? And why am I doing this? You start getting all these thoughts in your head. But then you remember and you start to appreciate your surroundings, the area that you're at, having the ability to even be able to run. I mean, again, it's not about racing. At first, when I first started, I was thinking that I had to run so fast. And then I realized that I actually have to start slower at the process so then I can save my energy towards the end. So it's just live and learn, but it's something that I know that I can do. Once you do it once, twice, you're like, okay, I can do this. So then now I start incorporating other things to help me, plus my health. I mean, I think our number one thing that we should really focus on is our health, because when we're running around, being a single mom, taking the kids to sports and getting up early, running them to school, and then having a business of my own is just it just kind of takes over you. So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself, because in order to do those things, you should, focus on your health. So then that way you have the energy to be able to do the things that we love to do.
I love that. And isn't that so true? And I think often especially as a single parent, I can imagine it's difficult to focus on your own health and to focus on things that bring you joy, that fill your bucket, that are good for you, not like running, walking, it's not just good for us physically, it's good for us mentally and spiritually. Truly, it is life-changing. And I think you have discovered that. But I love that as yourself, as a business owner, as a single mom, now as a grandma of nine grandkids, you're out there and you're investing in yourself. Because I also know that you currently are also doing like strength training I think like with a personal trainer. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. So I really wanted to take it to the next step. And I know that strength training is something that not only does it feel good, I just feel like it really helps with the training that takes place for running. So that was another thing that I used to do way back when I did. And I just remember, like, you know what? I think I can. At first, I didn't think I could incorporate it because I do have a busy schedule. But you know what? It encouraged me to get up even earlier. So I'm able to do the things and that I felt were necessary for me and for my health. I mean, I have friends that no longer can walk. I have friends that can do many things. And so I realize that I took a lot of things for granted and I'm appreciated for that. So yes, I started training with a personal trainer a couple months ago. So I am in his gym 3 times a week.
I love that. And I love that you seem to be someone who's motivated to be there for your family. Because I know that you just got back from an amazing trip down LA. You got to spend some time at Disneyland with your grandkids and your kids. And I mean, just again, I love that you're setting such a great example to them that no matter how busy, which I don't like that word busy. I prefer the word productive. You live a very productive life as real estate agent, right? That's what you do as your
Yes,
job.
20,
So
25 years.
25 years real estate agent, like you're showing your kids and your grandkids like although life there's lots I could be doing right now other than showing up with my personal trainer, other than running these half marathons, these full marathons, which we haven't even gotten there yet. What made you step into the full marathon realm? But I love that you're just setting that example of I'm going to continue to invest in my health, and it's for your family. I know that's a huge why of yours. But let's
Absolutely.
go let's go back to talking about, okay, so you did Rock and Roll San Diego, that kind of just propelled you forward. What made you move then into a full marathon? Because I know you just finished your third full marathon at CIM, which I had the pleasure of sharing 26.2 miles with you. But tell us what was your first full and what made you make that jump?
Well, I did my first full in Austin, and to be quite honest with you, it was a disaster. Um, I was actually, if you look at the Austin full marathon, I'm on their video. I was the last one that came in that marathon, so it took me 7 hours to complete my first full marathon, and I was about to give up on the 20th mile. And I kept going. I said, my mind was set to finish no matter what. I just knew that they had a cutoff time. But incredibly, I don't know, God works in such amazing ways that I did not give up. I was in a lot of pain. I could have got picked up. I chose to walk the rest of the not the rest of the way, to jog, run the rest of the way. I'm going to get it done. So when I got to almost to the finish line, I realized that there were still people there and they still had all of the equipment and they actually made it. They waited for me to finish that finish line, and it was just an incredible feeling the way that they accepted me as soon as I crossed that line, saying that I had done it. And even though it wasn't the best run, I just finished it, and that was my goal, is just to get it done. So, but it was a lot harder than what I expected, that's for sure.
Wow, just hearing you retell a story, it's like causing my eyes to get teary because I love, shout out to the Austin Marathon. Shout out to them for being supportive and inclusive of all runners and saying that all runners count. Like
Yes.
you got to that finish line, you persevered, you were in pain. The race didn't go exactly as you planned. You felt like giving up, you wanted to give up, but you continued to push forward no matter what. You were like, I'm going to finish. And they were there to celebrate you, to say, congratulations, marathoner. So I love that. I love that for you. I love that for the Austin Marathon. So shout out to them. That's great. But then you didn't stop there. You're like, I'm going to do this to myself again. So what was full marathon number two?
Well, even though it was tough, it made me realize that I wanted to spend more time in training. I didn't do all the runs that I should have done throughout my training schedule, and I kept making excuses, just like how you shared earlier. it's like getting up earlier has actually made me more productive. And it actually feels, it just changed my life, to be honest with you. I could sleep in, I could stay in bed if I wanted to. But that really didn't make me feel good. It just didn't bring joy to me. So I decided that, I'm going to run another one next year. I do put my full marathons in December because I figured, okay, I have a whole year to really focus on accomplishing and getting this done. So I put in more effort. I was more consistent. I did a lot more running. And then I did the CIM in 2023.
And how'd you do there at CIM 2023?
I did great. So I went from 7 hours to 5 hours. I was determined and I was able to accomplish my goal. That was my goal. And it wasn't easy, but I got it done. And so that encouraged me to say, okay, I can definitely schedule at least one full marathon a year. And if I put the time and energy and training, anything's possible. So that's how I got through the second one.
Oh my goodness. I love that. And I love what you just said that, like, with that training, with that effort, anything is possible. And I firmly believe that too. I know that you and I just shared 26.2 miles together for CIM 2024. And I know you could have gone faster than that 5:50 pace. But you stuck with me. I was pacing the 5-hour 50 group. And can you speak? I don't think I've really asked you this. I haven't prepared you this for this question, but can you speak to um, those run walk intervals? Because when I pace 5 hours, 50 minutes, I run 2 minutes, walk 1 minute. How did that feel? Because I think, well, I know you and I did run the Parkway together. So if you need to go back to that, that's fine. But just share about have you ever done run walk intervals before running with me? And how did you feel about those run walk intervals?
Never. And and I have to be transparent with you. It wasn't easy, but it just saves so much energy to where you can actually run, walk the whole distance and feel, how do I explain this? It made me feel like, okay, I can do this, I can do this. I didn't even have to think about it. And I had more, I didn't have that, I felt inspired because I'm like, I can do this. And thinking about my last full marathon the year before, I remember huffing and puffing and crying and trying to get to that finish line. And with the intervals that we did, it was just, I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was something that was pretty amazing to me and I really enjoyed it. So thank you for that. I mean, it was great running with you. But it was great, Stephanie. I'm really appreciated. I never even knew that existed. So it was like I was like, wow, we can really do this. This is awesome. And I didn't share this with you, or maybe I did, but just 7 weeks prior, I broke, no, it was probably no, 8 weeks before the actual run, I broke my toe. And so I was playing soccer with the kids. I broke my toe and I was told to be off my foot for 6 weeks. And of course, I only stayed off of it for 2 weeks. And then I said, but I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I was determined. I'm like, I got to do this run. So I was so happy that I was able to finish it with you and the rest of the group. Everybody was such a great group. I was really excited just to complete it with everyone that I was running with. So that was pretty cool.
I'm sure that that group with CIM with the 550 that we just did in December of 2024, it's so hard to explain to people how inspiring the group is and how amazing the group is. But I'm so glad that you got to experience that. So if you're listening or watching this podcast right now and you want to run your first marathon and you want me to be your pacer first, I would love to be your pacer. It would be an honor and joy to be your pacer. But I encourage you to sign up for CIM, the California National Marathon, because I have said that I will pace that 550 group for CIM until I can no longer run. Like I want to be 80 plus years old and pacing the 550 marathon group. Like that's how much like CIM means to me. It's like my hometown race. That's how much the runners with me it means to me. Like I just can't even begin to explain it. So I'm so glad that Alicia, you got to experience that and never know, like maybe you'll I'm inspiring you to be a pacer too.
Yes, I mean maybe. I mean, I'm not opposed, so I'm excited and everybody and everyone that's out there that's thinking about running a marathon, you can do it. I mean, we really can. And Stephanie is amazing. You would love to run with her. So I think that, I encourage everyone out there that's even thinking about it just to go get it out, just attract it and go out there and connect yourself with like Stephanie and just start that process because it's something that is going to be an amazing thing for yourself, first of all. And now I'm excited to encourage my granddaughter. She's 9. And now she's like, wrote me a letter from Idaho because that's where they live. And she said that she can't wait to run her first full marathon one day. And she's already ran 2 5Ks with me. So she's really enjoying the journey. And I just can't even express how proud I am of her just to be able to ask me when our next run is going to be.
I love that so much. And I love too how you were just now encouraging people who are listening who want to run a marathon and to just do it. But I think that's my final question for you. The great segue. What advice would you give to someone who is listening? Maybe they've tried running in the past and it's been really difficult and they quit running. Or maybe they're listening and they want to run that first marathon, but they're filled with fear and anxiety. What advice would you give to them? Because here you are, someone who started with walking, then started incorporating some running, and now you've done 3 full marathons. So what advice would you give to those people?
The advice I would give someone is that if something that I encourage anyone that is thinking about running a half marathon, a 5K, a 10K, whatever that might be, whatever that goal is just to go out there and just do it. I promise you, you won't regret it. And I know that it changes how you feel. It changes and it encourages you to continue. And you don't have to be a racer. You don't have to race hard. You just have to be out there willing to just take that challenge and, finish it at your own pace. I mean, anyone that's out there is a runner. And that's all I can share is that I just hope that you do go out there and and experience it for yourself. I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
I love that too. All runners count. Go out there and do it. Okay, final question is where can people find you? They're listening, they're watching, they've been inspired by you. So give a shout out to your business, give a shout out to any socials or email. How can people contact you?
You may reach me. I'm on Instagram, and my Instagram name is Alicia Rodriguez Real Estate Group. So you're more than welcome to reach me there. And I'm also on Facebook. I do have a business Facebook, which is AR Real Estate Group, that you're also welcome to reach out to me there. And then I also have a personal page with my name. Alicia is my first name, Alicia Rodriguez, Rodriguez. So I have 2 Facebook accounts that you can reach me there as well. Or you can email me at aliciaoffers@gmail.com, which is ALICIAOFFERS@gmail.com. And just reach out if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to, answer any questions that I can, and hopefully I can inspire you to get started.
I love that so much. Thank you for sharing your inspiring story. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
being who you are, for being my inspiration as a female business owner and runner. And I look forward to when you and I can share some more miles together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate you and thank you for inspiring me. I will continue this journey. I will not stop until the day, like you said it. I might be 80 and I'll still be running.
I love it.
So thank
Talk
you
to you
for that.
later.
Yes, thank you. Okay, bye.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Run Strong Run podcast. Don't forget to check out the show notes for your free download created to help you on your running journey. Stay connected with me on Instagram at RunStrongRun or visit my website at runstrongrun.com. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love your support. Leave a rating, write a review, or share it with a fellow runner. Until next time, keep running strong and running happy.